Hello. What's your name, your position, and how long have you worked at GVS?
My name's AJ Kozier. I'm the IT director, and I have worked at GVS for about 4.5 years now.
My name is Belmir Husainovich, and I am a IT support technician, and I have been here since July of 2023.
My name is Sean. I'm an IT support technician, and I've been here for about 3.5 years now.
When you were a child, what did you dream of becoming?
Well, early childhood, I wanted to be a marine biologist, but as weird as it might be, from about middle school onwards, this is always what I saw myself doing.
How did you get in? Ooh, this is a great question. Growing up, my father worked on a lot of cars. So I was in the garage, always with him, holding the flashlight, handing him these tools. And I guess that made me really want to be a mechanic.
It's an interesting question. My dad was a dentist, and my mom was she works in a stem cell laboratory at St. Francis. So I always saw myself being something in the medical field, but I never really pinned that down.
How did you get into doing IT work?
So my very first IT job, I was a sophomore in college, and I worked as an intern at a local computer repair store back up in Lowell, where I'm from. And then after college, I moved down to Indianapolis, and I worked at a IT consulting firm up in Castleton, where I learned to hate a daily work commute on 465 and 70. So, but then after that, I came down here and have been working at GVS ever since, and I've loved every second of it.
I've alongside with wanting to work on cars, I also really love technology. So I decided as a career path, I wanted to do something with tech, and going into college, I chose informatics, and that I got the IT internship here, and the rest is history. Chose IT.
So right out of high school, I got a job at Target. I was pushing carts there for a while, and a spot opened up in their electronics department, and I ended up getting that spot and ended up working with consumer cellular customers with their cell phones, and found out I really enjoyed solving tech problems, and IT was the answer for me from there.
What do you love about working with seniors and helping them understand and get educated about IT?
Honestly, the genuine joy and happiness that they feel when you actually get to teach them something new and it sticks. Just having that experience of there being this technology that, they probably couldn't have even conceived that they'd be having to use when they were kids, and that adventure and discovery of learning something new and actually being excited about learning something new, even well into retirement like that, is just a heartwarming feeling for me.
Great question. I really love helping seniors because they get really happy when you help them with something related to their tech, or help them fix something. And it's always rewarding to see, and being patient with them, and just helping them be less intimidated by technology. It's always rewarding to see.
My favorite thing about working with seniors are the stories. And I really, really love to hear firsthand how far technology has come, and just to hear stories about what it was like back in the day.
What are the challenges of working IT in healthcare versus other companies that are not related to healthcare?
Oh boy, PHI. Always having to keep everyone educated and stay vigilant for anything that could be on the network that's PHI related, protected health information, and that's basically anything medically related that is specific to an individual. So prescription information, doctor's orders, anything like that. Making sure that stays in hands and is visible only to eyes that are actually allowed to see it is an incredibly refreshing challenge, I would say, and it's not something that any other industry really ever has to deal with.
I'd say that the biggest challenge is that in healthcare, a lot of the technology that we support is critical to people's care and daily routines. So I'd say there's a lot more pressure to make sure that everything is staying working and running smoothly, and to be able to fix those issues quickly.
Healthcare brings a lot of regulations and a lot of security concerns over information. And a lot of our systems are much more critical when it comes to healthcare than it would be if we were, say, like a cell phone business or something. If a server went down, no biggie, we just lose some money. But here, if a server goes down, we could be preventing somebody from getting the care they need. So it's much more important that we keep everything up and running.
And now, how to troubleshoot your TV, remote, and internet equipment.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to be showing you guys some tips and tricks with our new cable system, the DirecTV box, and show you a couple how-tos with the internet equipment over here on the right. So first things first, a couple simple things. If you notice that your remote isn't changing the channel with this here, or adjusting the volume, or maybe the voice control isn't working, there's one thing you can try, and it's repairing the remote with the TV. And how you do that is with the TV on, you have these two buttons right here. So you want to put two fingers, one right here and one on the other side. Hold it down for a few seconds while pointing it at the TV. And you should have a message come up, and you can let go after a few seconds. You'll have a pairing remote message on the top right of the screen. And keep pointing it at the TV, and eventually it'll say success. And then from there, those buttons should all be working after that. Second tip, if you notice that your channels are freezing, or their mouth isn't matching what the audio is, things like that, there's a couple different ways you can restart the box. Obviously the easiest, or maybe not the easiest, but one simple way would be to unplug the cable box, and that is this far left cable. You can just unplug it and plug it back in. You don't have to wait a few seconds. As soon as it's unplugged, you can just plug it right back in. The TV will go black for a few seconds, and it should take about a minute or two for everything to just come back up, and it'll come back up on its own when you plug it in. So that's one way. There's also on the right side of the DirecTV box, there's this red button. You do want to be careful with this one. You don't want to hold the button because it will reset the box entirely. But to restart the box, you can just press it once, just one click like that. You don't want to hold it, just one click. The screen and the box will restart after you do that. One more way is you can use the voice control to restart the box. So what you want to do is you press the microphone once and you let go. You don't want to hold the microphone. You just press it, let go, and then say restart device. And that will restart the cable box as well. Moving on over here, I want to show you guys how to restart some of your internet equipment. So here we have your router, and here we have your modem. One thing to keep note is this yellow cable that's connected to the modem. We want to be careful of that because there is glass inside of here, and we don't want to put any pressure on that because your internet will stop working if any of this does get crunched. But I want to show you guys how to restart these boxes if you ever notice any issues with your internet. Starting with the white box here, there is on the back of it, there's an on and off button. If it's pushed in, that means it's on. If it's pushed out, that means it's off. So to restart it, you can just push it once, it's out. That means it's off. And you don't have to wait a few minutes. You can just push it back in, and the box will then restart and come back up. Coming over here to your router, you can do the same thing on the back. We've got power. Pushed in means it's on. Pushed in means it's off. So you just want to press it once, press it again to push it back in, and it'll restart. You don't want to touch any of these buttons over here on the right. This far right one says Wi-Fi on and off. You can turn your Wi-Fi on and off. Okay, so moving on to your router here. Here's what it looks like on the front. If you have any issues with your internet not showing up on your TV, or maybe your device is not broadcasting your Wi-Fi name to connect to it, the issue could be with the router here. So on the back, to restart it, there's a plug right here. It looks something like this. You'll just take that out and plug it right back in. You also don't have to wait a few minutes or anything. And when you plug that back in, it'll take a few minutes to come back up, but that should also help with any Wi-Fi issues.
And now, a public service announcement from our IT director, AJ.
I would be remiss not to use this opportunity just to remind everyone as well to always stay vigilant against any type of scams, whether it's a text message telling you have an unpaid toll, a call from the IRS, or a weird piece of mail that you got with a check in it for $50,000. Just anything at all that looks, feels, sounds even remotely fishy. Anything that has to do with you giving someone money or receiving a large sum of money that you weren't expecting to receive. If it looks too good to be true, or if it sounds too scary, always, always, always reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to take the 2 minutes it takes for us to verify that for you. We would much rather take 2 minutes out of our day to help you than you end up giving $50,000 to someone in Russia, because that is just an incomparably large headache. So please don't feel like you're bothering us. Don't feel like it's a stupid question. More than happy to help.
And you can see, look at this, snow in New Mexico. Happy spring there. We're looking at snow into the northwest parts of Texas as our severe weather event, and the flooding rain continues into Kentucky as well. This moves into the southeast then through Sunday.
Cars? What? 2 cop cars. There's another fire truck or something down there. Down the ways. 1, 2.
With their tornado count, 6 in Indiana so far. We have several of those in central Indiana, including the one in Carmel, 1 out in Brownsburg, 1 down in Lawrence County. We also had 1 in northern Indiana and 2 out in western Indiana in both Vigo and Park counties. But the National Weather Service is continuing with their surveys as we head on through today and possibly into the weekend. We know they'll be heading up towards Madison and Delaware counties.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Moran, and I'm the Plant Services Coordinator. I've worked for GVS for about 2 years now. On April 2nd, 2025, Indiana had a severe weather outbreak across the state. At about 10:45 p.m., I received a video in the 200 hall of a small leak. My immediate thought was that we had just had a leak in a plumbing pipe, but then I received a phone call stating that there was a leak in a resident's apartment. I knew there was something bigger going on, so I had called Keith Dickens, who was already on site, and asked him what he knew. He said that Dennis Morrison was on his way in to check everything out. A few minutes later, Keith texted and said, "You should come in." On my way into the community, I received a phone call stating that there were pieces of the roof sitting in the courtyard. I also received a text message of a 911 recording stating that the building was on fire. When I pulled into the community, I was taken back by all of the emergency lights from the first responders, as the reflection of their lights looked as though the building could have been on fire. When I got inside the building, there were several leadership team members already waiting in the lobby to help in any way that they were needed. Also, most of the residents who were affected were already in the lobby as well. I went to assess the floors and see what the damages looked like so that I could place a call into Midwest Remediation to assist with the damages. Once I returned to the lobby, Jordan, Pam, and I went over all of the available rooms in the Arms building to figure out where we could relocate the affected residents. The leadership team immediately jumped in and helped get everyone to their temporary rooms. Not only were the residents taken to new locations, some of their personal items had to be transferred along with them to accommodate their needs. For examples, medication, oxygen, heart monitors, a change of clothing, personal care items, etc. Once all the residents and personal items were situated into their new locations, I started meeting with Midwest Remediation to assess the damage. Emergency crews immediately responded and began the removal of the standing water, secured the damaged roof, and began the restoration work. Structural assessments took longer. Our maintenance team, in collaboration with professional contractors, assessed the full extent of the damage, and plans for restorations were made. On the same evening of the storm, the roof was tarped by Indy Roof. Debris that had landed in the courtyard were removed on April 5th by Coomer Roofing. On April 11th, more than half of the displaced residents had already returned to their original apartments. Approximately 90% of the industrial drying, dehumidification, and air purification equipment was removed as conditions were fully stabilized and passed all required quality checks. On April 14th, new tech was secured to repair and finalize all of the roof damage. On April 17th, permanent roofing repairs were fully executed, marking the formal resolution of one of the storm's most critical challenges. Environmental testing was completed in multiple areas of the impacted wing, and the results were clear, confirming the quality and the environmental integrity of the affected areas were fully safe for occupancy. Also, at this point in the project, 13 of the 16 displaced residents have returned to their apartments. On April 25th, the remaining residents were able to return to their apartments, and since then, the temporary walls have been removed. We are now waiting on further instructions on how we are wanting to proceed with the hallways to get them fully restored. Thank you to everyone who has helped with this project. It really does take a village.